Hello everybody, and hope everyone is well. This is Jay with Finance with Jay, again with another video. I don't know if you guys have watched the England game against Switzerland. Penalties, very tense. It's always a bit of a weird one with England, and watching their games, they somehow manage to always pull out the bag, but it's always razor thin, which is never really a good thing, because when you go against teams such as, France, Netherlands potentially, you might get burnt, so we'll see how that goes. But yeah, hopefully everyone's enjoyed the weekend so far and had a good week. Cool. So in terms of portfolio update, we're sitting at 30,400. So off the top of my head, that's around a £380 gain from the last video. Not too many changes in terms of buys and sells, but there is a couple of buys which I'll go through shortly. Just to check performance on how everything's going in terms of portfolio. S&P 500 up 15.79, iShares Tech up around 26%. On to individual holdings. This is where it gets a little bit more interesting. I'm pretty sure you guys are probably pretty familiar with the recent increase in Tesla's recent stock price. I mean, if we look over the past, we go back a month, it's up 43% last month. And annoyingly, I did have a lot more shares in Tesla going back about 2 months ago. Maybe around here, I sold out of it and rebalanced the entire portfolio. I think I had around 3 times as many, but it is what it is. I'll eventually put more into it, but it's, I just didn't want it to be such a large percentage of my portfolio, which it was a little bit more back then. But I'm still very happy with the gains we've got. I think we're up around £500, which is very nice to see. Similarly, Apple's had massive gains. I think we're up another in the past week. They've gone up another 7%. So seeing nice gains as well from Apple, which is just really good to see, right? We're seeing all these gains. Obviously, there is always the underlying threat that they may close down a little bit, just due to, I think there's a massive looming despair, right, about tech stocks potentially faltering eventually, similar to the .com crash, which we saw in 2000. But who knows, right? It's all speculation. Just do what works for you. Invest in what works for you. So in terms of the buys, which I'll flick up on the screen, there was 2 buys I did for 2 different stocks. So, it's 4 buys for 2 different stocks. So we bought 2 100s of Fiverr. I think that was around 6.5 shares a piece, which you'll see on the graph in front of you. I think it was, I think I mentioned it in the last video that I wanted to put more into Fiverr. We saw a little bit of a dip here, and I was like, why not? It's a bit of a risky one, like I always say, I would never advise someone to invest in a company like Fiverr, as it is extremely, anything can happen, right? So just be aware of that. But I can see growth within this company. I think they're heading in the right direction, and hopefully over time we will see some decent growth within this company from share price appreciation. Now my other purchase was more so just to round up my profile a little bit. I don't know if you guys saw. I bought about 2 stocks of Europe 600. Pretty much just covers the entire 600 largest companies in Europe. So Nova, ASML, Nestle, Shell, etc. Added a little bit more into this. This is definitely not going to be as much growth as at least in recent time, right? I mean, recent historic, right? Not as much growth as the S&P and the S&P Tech. But more so is you can never predict the market. You don't know what's going to happen. One day American stocks could start falling, then all of a sudden Europe stocks starts rising. So it's more so just to have a wider net in the market. So that's pretty much it in terms of what I've bought, what I've changed. Going forward, pretty much continue what I'm doing in terms of investing. Mostly, I say that I didn't put 200 quid into Fiverr, and mostly putting most of my money going into the these 3 stocks here. Yeah, hopefully everyone had a good week as mentioned earlier, and hope you enjoyed the video. Bye.